Hello everyone, welcome back to another Procreate tutorial where today we're going to be creating a cool winter scene and we're going to be using it as a backdrop or a home screen for our telephone. So the canvas size I've got today is, it's a little strange, but it's 1682 by 3000, and you can look and see what type of phone you have and you can see what type your screen resolution or whatever it is that you need to make yours. So if you want to go that way, you can do it. If not, you can use this one. It'll probably fit in your phone anyway. It might stretch a little bit, but it should be okay. And then as far as our grid here, we've got it at 299 pixels. If you do not know how to load in the reference photo, I've created a separate video, so you can go watch that first, and you can come back and join us as we do this sketch. Now, we are going to be using some assets from Unsplash today, and I'm going to show you how to prepare that right now. Okay, what you want to do is come over here to Unsplash. It's unsplash.com, and this is a place where you can download free images. So I'm going to type in deer, and you can see all the photos here that we are able to download. So let's pick, let me see, I think I like this one right here, so I'm going to download this one. And that's going to go right to my downloads folder. And let me do, so we got one from the side here. Maybe let's do one, let's do this one here too. Alright, and that's it. So first let's go ahead and take care of those deer pictures that we downloaded. And I'll show you how to do that. We're going to click on the little wrench here. I've just got a basic 3000 by 3000 pixel canvas here just for right now. We're going to hit add, and then we're going to insert a photo, and then we're going to pick one of those deer that we downloaded from Unsplash. And then I don't really care about it not fitting or anything. I'm just going to hit the little arrow here to unselect it. And now what we need to do is we need to cut out this deer from the background. And how we're going to do that is click on this little squiggly shape right there and go to freehand. And then what you can do is you can just draw around it. So it don't have to be perfect, long as it looks like a deer. So I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to show you this one, but I'm not going to show you the other one since you know how to do it after you do this one. So you'll do the other one that we downloaded the same exact way that we're doing this one. You just trace around him. And I just keep turning my canvas so it's just easier to do this. Alright, we're almost there. Right there. Okay, we've got our deer selected. Now what we want to do is we want to inverse the selection. So click on the invert button here. It's going to select all of the outside of the deer. And now go to your deer layer, tap it, and hit clear. And then it's going to remove the background. And then if you want to get this inside here of the horns, you do the same thing. Click that and clear it, and then we can pick this part here too. Oops, I didn't click my selection tool. And then go back here and hit clear again. And there we go, we have our deer cut out, and that's exactly what we want. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to, this is going to be a silhouette of a deer. The background is white, and we want our deer white. So I'm going to turn the background off. I'm going to click on a white color, and I like to go to the classic so I can make sure it's perfectly white. If you get it right up in the very top corner, you know it's pure white. And then what we're going to do is just pick any brush you like. I think I'm going to go to my airbrush because they're really big. Where's my airbrush? Here it is. And it's going to go to a hard brush. That's fine. And then what we're going to do is change this layer to alpha lock. So alpha lock will only allow us to color on the deer itself. And then we're just going to paint this deer. Now you can see we have a white silhouette, and that's how you're going to do the other one the same way. So we want these two deer silhouettes. And then what you can do is, so you can use it in your other project, you can either 3-finger swipe down and hit copy, and then you can go to your gallery and then go to the other canvas that you're working on and then paste it into there. Or you can just save it onto your iPad and then we can load it in. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the wrench. We're going to share it as a JPEG. Actually, maybe, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to share it as a PNG. That way it'll share it with a transparent background. And then just save an image. And that's all you got to do. Now when you're on your, if you were on your other canvas, so for example, if this was our other canvas, you just hit your wrench, you'd hit add, insert a photo, and then you pick the deer that you just made and add it in. So that's how we're going to do that. Okay, so do that for your other deer and then come back when you're done and we'll continue with this tutorial. Okay, we're back, and now that you've got your two deer cut out and you've turned them white and you've saved them wherever you want to save them at, we're going to go ahead and start on our drawing. Now, we have our sketch here. We're going to be drawing on this side over here, and what I'm going to do is, so I'm not going to make a black outline sketch today. We're going to have the picture in the colors itself. We're not going to have any outlines around it. So the first thing what I want to do is go ahead and prepare that background, and we're going to have a gradient. So what we're going to do is go to your color palettes here, and by the way, everything that you need to follow along with this tutorial will come on a free download over on Gumroad. You can go download that. It is a free download, although I've set it up where you can donate $1 or $2 if you find these tutorials helpful. All right, so let's do this blue here, this really light blue. And what I'm going to do is, I've given you a brush pack too, which is this winter scene here. But you know what? To start off, I'm going to use an airbrush, which comes basically with your Procreate, so you have it already. And I'm going to paint the top portion. I'm going to make it much bigger. I'm going to paint this top portion of the canvas, this light blue, and then the second blue down here under it, I'm going to make that the darker one. I'm going to do it down here. So kind of basically like that. The mountains are going to be covering the sky up anyway, so the sky's probably only going to go from about right here and up. And now what I want to do is go to the little magic wrench tool here and hit Gaussian blur. And then we're going to slide our pen to the right until we get a nice gradient. And I think that's good enough. Okay, so there's our background done. Let's go ahead and maybe let's start putting in, I think these mountains maybe is probably the next best thing, or maybe our foreground here. So start a new layer, and you can do that just by hitting the little plus sign right there. And then we're going to do a pure white, and let's do this line right here. So we're going to start, okay, and then on the brush pack, I've given you this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 free brushes. We're going to just use a mono stream here. It's just a single line. I'm going to start on the left side. Make sure you're off the canvas. Take it down about 33%. That's good. And we're just going to make a line that goes across just like that. And then we're going to fill it in with white. So that is going to be our kind of a snow background here. Now we're going to create a new layer, and we're going to drag it under that snow. All right, and we want to do this gray color right here. And then I'm going to have another one. And to make it easier for you, just start off the canvas down here. And then we're going to do that line right here. And now you can just go ahead and fill that one in. And it's behind the white one, so it won't, the other part that you put on there won't show up. So that's good. We've got those two layers done. Maybe let's go ahead and start putting the mountains in now. And the mountains are going to be this middle blue color here. Kind of a blue-gray, I guess, in a way. And we're going to do those on a separate layer too. And those are going to go behind our 2 ground layers that we just did, but in front of the background. So under the 2 layers, but on top of the background here. All right, and we're going to do this mountain here. So let's just start off the canvas again. And we're going to go up, down, up, and then down. We go all the way off the canvas on the bottom there. And then just going to go ahead and fill it in. So there's one mountain. I'm going to put all of these mountains on separate layers. So this mountain is going to be behind this first one, so we're going to drag it under, just like that. And then again, we're going to I'm going to start off the canvas, and go up here, and then off that side over there. And I'm going to fill that one in. All right, and then one more, start a new layer, and this is going to be behind all of them. So put it on the bottom of all the mountains, and then again, I'm going to start off the canvas, and then we're going to go up here, and then make it kind of a jaggedy mountain. And then we're going to go off the canvas down here, and then fill it in. And there is your mountains. Very easy. Okay, the next thing, let's go ahead and let's put these trees in here on the side. So they're going to be totally white, so we're going to go back to our white color here. Those are going to go on top of the mountains. So we need that right here. So it's going to be over the ground layers, but on top of the mountains. And we're just going to do these little pine tree shapes here. Just like that. And we can put both of these trees on the same layer. They're pretty separated. All right, just like that. And then we can go ahead and fill those in. You can hit continue filling, so get that in quickly. There we go. Next thing, let's go ahead and put in our snow on our top of our mountains. Okay, we're going to do the snow on a separate layer. And let's find the mountain here on the left side. And I think, turn it off and on just to tell which one it is. So that one right there. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer on top of it. And we're going to click on it and set it to clipping mask. So that's going to only allow us to draw on that mountain only. All right, and we're going to draw our snow on top here. So again, I'm going to start off the edge of the canvas and just do our little jagged snow, and then go off the other side of the canvas. Now you can go ahead and fill it in. There's the snow on that one. All right, and we do the same thing on these other ones. So find this one, start a new layer on top, set it to clipping mask, and let's see which mountain that is. Okay, that's the one on the far right. Okay, and then we'll do the snow on this one. So just like that, and then fill it in. And there you go. Okay, and then we're going to do the last one here. I'm going to start a new layer on top of it. Set it to clipping mask. And then we're going to do the snow on this one. I'm going to do it like this. Make sure I get that part here, that I don't miss it. And fill that in. And there's our snow on our mountains. Very good. Okay, so now that we've got our snow in, let's go ahead and do some shadows. So go ahead and pick this darker blue color here, the one under the mountains that we used. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to create a new layer on top of the mountain I'm going to set it to clipping mask again. And then, let's see, we're going to do a shadow here, coming out, and then going up to about right there. And then I want all of this as one shape. So I'm going to fill that in like that. And then maybe we'll have a little bit down here. And just make a closed shape so you can close it off. So that's it for that one. Now we're going to do another one right here. Set it to clipping mask. I think that's the middle one. Let me make sure. No, that's the one on the right. Okay. So you can just turn it off and on to see which one you're on. Okay, so we're going to do this one over here. Let's do, we're going to do just something like this. And then under the snow. Oops, didn't want that to happen. Let's go ahead and fill that in. Okay, there's our shadow. And that's all on that one. On the middle one, let's do this one next. So that's going to be right here. Clipping mask again. And then we're going to do something like this. A shape like that. And let's get this part right here too. You know what? That's good. So just a little shadows on there, and now we're going to do some shadows on the snow too. So that's going to be this gray color right here. And then what we can do is we can just go right onto the snow itself. So what I'm going to do is, let's do this snow first. And that's the one on the far right here. I'm going to take that off a clipping mask, and I'm going to set it to alpha lock. That's going to only allow me to draw on the snow here. And then we're going to kind of continue this shadow here. So up. And then up. And then up like that. And then down. Fill that in. Oops. Did I leave the shape open? That's not working right. Well, anyway. You just color it in. Easy enough. And then we're going to do the same thing on these other ones. So go to the snow. I'm going to turn off the clipping mask. I'm going to set it to alpha lock. And I think that was the one on the far right here. Let me see. Turn it off. Yeah. Turn it back on. So you're going to do the continuation of this one. And just go like that, and then right to the top. And then this side, all going to be in gray. I don't know why it's not letting me fill it in. But anyway, make our brush bigger. So we can get this colored in easier. There we go. All right, and then let's do the last one, which is this one. We'll turn off the clipping mask. We'll set it to alpha lock again. And then continue this going up. Just like that. Okay, so we've got our shadows and our highlights in. Maybe we'll do some on the trees too. Let's go to our tree. Where's our tree at? Right here. So let's do a layer on top. We'll set it to clipping mask. And then let's do, I'm gonna make my brush a little smaller for the trees. Just gonna do like little curlies. Just like that. Maybe a little bit right there. That's good enough. I think that's it. I'm not going to do one over there. All right, so we've got that done. Let's go ahead and work on these clouds. So let's go back to our white color here. We're going to create a new layer on top of everything. I think I've already got one. Yep. Layer 4 is already top of everything. And let's put in this little fluffy cloud. Oops, I'm touching my reference photo again. Move that over. Sometimes it's finicky, you can't get it. Okay, go to my streamline brush again and then just put in a little cloud shape. Just like that, and then fill it in. All right, let's do another one over here. Fill that in. All right, and then for the moon, I'm going to do that on a separate layer because we're going to put a gradient on it. And it's going to go behind the clouds, so I'm going to make a layer under the clouds here. And then we're just going to do a circle, hold your pen down, touch it with your other finger, and you can make a perfect circle. And then we're going to fill that in. All right, and then what I want to do is I want to go to my grayish color here. Create a new layer on top of it. Set that to clipping mask. So now it's going to do the same thing that we just did, but it's going to have it on a separate layer. So now, I'll go back to my soft brush, okay? Same thing. And then we're going to put the Gaussian blur on it. So about like that. Okay? Now, it's going to let me do what I wanted to do. Go to my eraser tool. And what I want to do is I want to erase a little bit of that gray. Right on the edge of that moon. Just like that. Okay, now I am getting rid of this reference photo because it's getting in the way. Here we are. We've got all of our assets in here basically. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the monoline brush again. Let's create a layer. Let's do it on top of the background. And let's see, just tap. So I want it a little bit bigger than that. So I'm going to take it up all the way. There we go. And I don't want it gray, I want it white. Go back to our white. And we're just going to put some snowflakes in here. So just tap your canvas. And then you can make it a little smaller. Take your brush size down and make some smaller dots. Just like that. And then I've also given you a snowflake brush. Hit that, it's a little bit too big. Undo that, I'm going to take it down to 12 maybe. There we go. And we can make these different sizes too. Here we go. I think it looks great. New one right there. All right, and that is going to be it for the sky and for the background, for everything else. Now we're going to use our deer. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit our little wrench icon here. We're going to hit add, insert a photo, and then the two photos that you cut out. Load those in, and we need to load them in on top of everything. So I'm going to drag that all the way to the top. There's our deer. And now we can resize him. So I'm going to put him maybe a little bit smaller. I'm going to put him right there. And then we're going to load the other one in. Insert photo. And that was this one right here. And then we're going to make him a little smaller. And we're going to put him right there. And that is going to do it, guys. There is your winter scene. You can load that up on your cell phone and see how cool it looks and show all your friends what you've created in Procreate. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit the little bell icon so you'll get notified when I upload new videos. But it's basically every Friday for the Procreate tutorials. All right, and with that, I will see you guys next week. Take care.